FHS season tickets.
Welcome into another episode of FHS Season Tickets. I'm Michael.
And I'm Nick.
And today we are going to be talking about the NFL Draft. We're both so excited for this because as Cleveland Browns fans, it's one of the few times where we are kind of in the spotlight for the NFL season. The Cleveland Browns, after going 1-31 the past two seasons, have the number 1 and the number 4 overall picks in this year's draft, and I cannot wait to get upset for what they're going to be doing. But, Nick, let's predict what they're going to be doing, and let's talk about the ramifications for what would happen if they do each of these things. So, Nick, what do you think the Browns are going to be doing? Go through all the kind of potential theories that are going to happen, and then after you do that, we'll break down each of them one by one, going at number 1 and number 4 overall.
Yeah, when it comes to Cleveland Browns theories, draft theories, there's a lot of them. There's many of them. There's
a lot of fish in the ocean.
Yeah, there's so many like different avenues that people have been talking about, different ways that they're going to go. That has to deal with, one, we haven't drafted a quarterback in the top 10 since 1999, which I thought was the craziest stat. That top, I guess 20.
Top 10 is a true stat, but top 20 is also a true stat.
It's crazy.
So that just makes it even more crazy.
Yeah, so like just that's insane. Top 10 is like a true testament because like that's where like you're gonna get the guaranteed, not guaranteed, but like the only the elite quarterbacks, like the only elite quarterbacks that's ever slipped past the top 10 have been like the guys that you wouldn't think would be like Russell Wilson just because of his height. You wouldn't really like. That's not a safe pick, obviously, but
Rodgers is like the only
Brady, which was like just obviously that's the most hyped story of all time that he was like a 6th rounder, 7th rounder. But anyways, the fact that that has happened, I know that we're going to be drafting a quarterback number 1, and then it just. Well, I hope it's number 1. You just got to take the quarterback number 1. You just have to do it. It just you can't not do a number 1 overall pick for this. But I mean, the theories of who it's going to be is just insane about all of it. You hear Sam Darnold, but lately you've been hearing Josh Allen, and even now Baker Mayfield. Not even Rosen, which I didn't even want Rosen. This man does not seem like he wants to come to Cleveland. If you need a star, you have to have someone that wants to be here, wants to do it, especially Rosen, who would be talking all the time. Like, that would just not be a good scenario. But Darnold, I really wanted. I thought Darnold's solid. I thought Darnold has the highest chance of being like the highest, maybe not the highest upside, but the most likely to reach his upside, and it's a high upside too, in my opinion. I'm a lot higher in Darnold than most, and then you have Allen, obviously the big arm, the stature even. I mean, also it's pretty popular picking out of conference or like a mid-major conference or whatever you want to call it, lower end college prospect at quarterback with Carson Wentz and even guys like Ben Roethlisberger and
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Flacco, all those boys. Wasn't Rivers even a?
No, Rivers was NC State.
Okay, so kind of similar, but a lot better program.
I'm trying to think of like other mid.
Yeah, but you get the point. And then Baker Mayfield is the craziest one this week. It came out that the Browns are between Allen and Baker Mayfield. Granted, that was Mary Kay Cabot or whatever you want to call her.
Also on Bleacher Report too.
Yeah, well, that was from her though, I think. So
but they kind of confirmed the story.
Yeah, but like that could be a leak story. There's numerous things. If they draft Baker Mayfield number 1, I am quitting the job. I am throwing this table. I am repairing Mike's arm, then breaking it again. I'm just going. I am going insane. I'm beating. Dude, I'm just gonna. Baker Mayfield number 1 would just be absolutely atrocious. I mean, he could be a good player, yeah, but
you are more
at number 1
against Baker Mayfield than against Josh Allen.
Dude, Baker Mayfield is just not an NFL prototype quarterback. Like, I like to stick within what's likely for something to happen. Like, Josh Allen to succeed in the NFL is more likely, in my opinion, just based on averages, based on like who will get the quarterbacks, than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield literally has to be Drew Brees, or else he's not going to go to the NFL. Like, that's who he's up against right now. He's going to be Case Keenum. You're going to draft Case Keenum number 1 overall in the NFL draft with all of these good quarterbacks, or you're going to take a flyer on Josh Allen, which I would not want to do. I want to draft Sam Darnold. But the fact that Allen could, under like John Dorsey, who's drafted bigger armed guys, I mean, just the history with that. And then also Tyrod Taylor's going to be starting anyways. But still, I want to draft Sam Darnold. I'm just saying that's a lot better than going for Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens with number 1. We get into number 4.
Well, let's talk about number 1.
Well,
before we go to number 4.
I'm setting the stage. I'm just saying all these theories.
You already gave your opinion about Baker, so here I am.
If we draft Baker, Baker number 1. Baker number 1 overall.
I think Baker and Darnold are about even as prospects. I have.
No, you did not say that.
You know that I have
Baker.
Rosen is my QB1.
Darn.
And you know that. Lamar is my QB2.
Oh.
And then Baker's like my 3A and Darnold's like my 3B.
Wow.
Baker was so incredibly accurate in college. It's just absolutely unreal. His deep ball accuracy.
He's not going to do that with NFL backs.
Yes, he will.
Hey, seeing over the line is going to be tough for him. That's what I'm saying. He has to be Drew Brees or he's not going to be good in the NFL.
He's so accurate. He's a great decision maker.
In the Big 12.
Yeah.
Every quarterback's accurate in the Big 12.
Not.
Davis Webb tears it up in the Big 12. Are we kept him number 1? All right, just keep going.
Baker Mayfield is better than any quarterback has ever been in the Big 12. So he's like better than all of them as well.
Name a good quarterback came out of the Big 12.
Baker Mayfield also.
Name a big quarterback that's ever come out of the Big 12 in the past 20 years.
Name a good quarterback came out of the Big 10 in the past 20 years.
Russell Wilson.
He played 1 season at Wisconsin.
Yeah, and he dominated.
He played 3 at NC State. He's an ACC product.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, that's stupid. He's Big 10, dude. He came out of the Big 10. What else do you want to call it? That was his best season.
Yeah, probably.
He did something at Wisconsin that no other quarterback's ever done.
What?
He was a high-scoring quarterback to come out of Wisconsin, not just run the offense. If you look at the stats, they were insane for a Wisconsin product. Baker does the same thing as every. Baker has done worse.
Wow, he made Rutgers football good.
Baker has done worse than that one Baylor quarterback. Who was that guy? I don't even remember his name anymore.
Baker is not worse than Bryce Petty.
His stats are.
No, they're not.
His stats are.
Baker, there's a reason he won the Heisman last year.
Bryce, his stats are better than Baker's. We can look at that.
No, they're not. They're not even close. Baker Mayfield, he has had 3 of the top 10 seasons all time in yards created in college football history.
In the Big 12?
3 of the top 10 seasons all time.
So we're going to draft a 5'11 prospect out of the Big 12. I remember when that happened last time. Johnny Manziel.
I don't think he fits in Cleveland.
Exactly.
Big 12, Johnny Manziel.
Well, I mean, he was in the Big 12 his first year.
Where do you
So he's a Big 12 product.
So he's a Big 12 product. He 3 years in the SEC, though. Think about it.
Hey, but his origin was in the Big 12.
Yeah, but he played more seasons in the SEC than the Big 12. I don't think Baker fits in a domed team. I think that's where he
I would agree with that.
Because as he does have like the NFL arm, I still think that he's going to be affected by cold weather more than some of the other guys in this draft. I think that
I agree.
He's just not going to be used to playing in those weather conditions like Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold,
Josh Rosen,
or Josh Allen.
About?
I think that Josh Rosen's arm strength and just decision making is going to translate through to cold weather better than Baker Mayfield.
You just said that Baker Mayfield's accuracy was amazing. Isn't that decision making?
It is.
So then
But he doesn't have the arm strength and he has smaller hands, so the cold weather would affect him more than the other guys, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm not in on Josh Allen at all. I have like him and Kyle Lauletta are like basically tied for me as QB5. Kyle Lauletta, sleeper. I'll talk to him a little bit more in depth on my sleepers. But he is my sleeper quarterback of this draft. He's basically Josh Allen, like minus Josh Allen hype. Like, could you imagine if the Browns think about taking Josh Allen second round? You'd be like, you know what? Big arm. He might not be accurate, but like I kind of see the upside here. But since Josh Allen has been pegged as like this top 5 draft pick, everyone's like, all right, this guy sucks. But that's where Kyle Lauletta comes in. He's basically like Josh Allen, but second, third round, you're like, you know what? I think it makes sense to take a shot on an FCS kid from Richmond. He, unlike Josh Allen, was a little bit more accurate than him, actually had a 67% adjusted completion percentage, which was very solid. His teams just really struggled in the red zone, which is probably the biggest flaw and knock on Lauletta. But overall he was able to take care of the ball. He doesn't have as big of accuracy issues as Josh Allen, and he has a very big arm, so he's like kind of a guy who I would look for in the later rounds. But
yeah, I really don't know why Josh Allen is getting so much hype. But yeah, I mean, I'm not high on Josh Allen, just like rest. It's kind of crazy. I feel like in the NFL, like I don't know how, like you talking about that other sleeper FCS player that hasn't got any love at all. I don't know how that Josh Allen like is so regarded in like as maybe a 1A, 1B type of thing with Darnold.
Really big.
Yeah, like
big
just
hands.
Yeah, just it's crazy. I almost think, I was thinking about this. What if while you were talking, what if it's the type of thing where like in the NFL, like everyone's like, all right, the Browns have the #1 pick. Let's con them into thinking that this prospect's amazing. So everyone talks, all the 31 teams are just talking up Josh Allen so much. They pick this random mid-major player, whatever the heck. They pick this random big major player with a pretty big arm, big hands and everything. Then they just absolutely go hard with like saying how good he is, and then they're just fooling the Browns in the #1 pick. That's what it kind of seems like here, especially with you talking about the other dude that has gotten no love.
I actually like kind of threw around this idea about offensive linemen. How like if every single offensive line expert like came together and was just like this random offensive lineman for like the Arizona Cardinals, who like I'll maybe watch one Arizona Cardinals game all season. If they all said that this dude was like the best guard in the league, I would probably like be like, yeah, this dude's pretty good.
Yeah,
and like
I would hear a lot of people's names and like the D-line, O-line. You just start to think
D-line. At least you could look. All right, sacks. QB pressures, tackles for loss, like that. At least had markers, but like you could just lie because like
but in D-line you could also say like this man's a run stuffer, like he's like a way more than what you say. I don't know, but you could say he like clogs up. He's like amazing. Like you could say
there would be more pushback.
Yeah, that's true.
On the guard. What if Orlando Brown was just that guy? Because you just see him at the combine just bomb it. And what if he was just a prank by all the NFL lineman experts?
I'm good. Yes.
But continue on to...
so number 4, we were talking about different routes to take. And I saw an interesting one. Yeah, I saw an interesting one, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But the regulars, Saquon. I really like Saquon, especially at number 4. I think that he's like an all-around talent, best talent in the draft, in my opinion. I don't know his impact they could have on the draft, but I feel like if Bradley Chubb's there, I think I want to take that. I want to take Bradley Chubb, who I think is going to be a solid defensive end for the next 10 years. And him with Myles Garrett, I feel like that takes a lot of pressure off Myles Garrett, because I feel like you could swap those guys a lot. You could change it up a lot with on the defensive line. And I don't know what would you do with Ogba, because I still think Ogba is a lot like a rising stock. So maybe you trade Ogba or something.
Or so you can just have 3 defensive ends, so you always have 2 of them in the game at once, because defensive ends aren't going to be playing like 12. If you have like a 12 snap drive, a guy like Garrett,
especially next season, I feel like Ogba's going to want a bigger role, so he'll probably move on. But again, that's also a security blanket to when Ogba leaves, and you have Bradley and Myles.
I mean, you're also assuming health,
and also health with Myles. Yeah, that's true. So I think if Bradley Chubb's there at 4, you take him. Just the impact of having a quarterback and a defensive end. The first there, that's what you want. I mean, Saquon's always really enticing. I personally wouldn't be as mad with it, but I think that those 2 for sure are the guys that you want. I really like a defensive back also, because our defensive backs have been atrocious.
I think you only take a defensive back if you trade down from 4.
I also think in the second round, when we have 3 draft picks, that's something you could do there. Trading down
there. Yeah, he's my defensive sleeper.
Trading down, like he said, that was what I was going to get into with the theory. I'll say this real quick. I saw an interesting theory about what could happen. These guys were just obsessed with the Cleveland Browns trading, which I think in last year's regime could have happened, but I don't know about this year. But it was when we would trade the 4th pick to the Bills, we would get the Bills pick, and then we would trade down again with the Patriots, and then we would potentially have 4 first-round picks, the 3 in the late round, and then we'd have a quarterback at 1. So I think that could be interesting to watch out for, trading down, getting a lot of later picks, because later first-round picks aren't ever bad, and with the Browns, they need a lot of depth. But especially if Saquon's there, not Chubb, I feel like that's a great option on a team that really wants Saquon. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, especially with all the hype that these quarterbacks are getting. I can guarantee you Baker will be that 4. And if Baker's getting a lot of hype from other teams,
Baker might go 3 to the Jets though, so you might have a Rosen.
Rosen and Allen
should be better.
Rosen and Darnold even. Which
we're assuming we're taking Darnold.
I don't know anymore. I don't know either one of those. But so that's also an option. Trading down a lot. I mean, I genuinely don't like trading down, but now that we've secured the quarterback for the first time in 20 years, then now we can just work on our depth, work on our if Chubb's, especially if Chubb's not there, then I would really like to see that scenario happen where we have like 3 first-round picks in the last 16 draft, like in the first round, the later 16 picks. So something that could happen there, but I'm interested. Second half, first round. So I'm interested to see in what your predictions are, what you want to see in the fourth overall pick.
Well, I'm very anti Saquon Barkley. I think that running backs are overvalued, and the big advantage about drafting guys in the first round is their contracts. And Saquon Barkley would be basically the highest paid running back in the NFL by the end of his rookie contract. That is not valuable compared to when you look at other guys.
Wait, he'd be the highest paid? What about Le'Veon?
He'd be well, we're assuming that from what Le'Veon is getting now, it would be around that area, but we're assuming that Le'Veon is going to get older.
What about Zeke?
And, Zeke hasn't had a contract extension yet.
But Zeke went 4th.
Yeah.
So it would be the same money.
No, because the cap keeps going up, so draft picks keep making slightly more money.
But by the end of his contract, Zeke would have already had a new one, right?
Yeah.
So then he would have a bigger one.
But Zeke is already one of the higher paid running backs in the NFL.
Oh, okay.
Like, what I'm saying is rookie scale running back contracts are very close to second contracts for running backs.
So you're saying that we could just pick up a second year. We could just later on just pick up a higher tier one that's already proven.
Yeah, you look
for
at
the same amount of
Alvin
money.
Kamara and Kareem Hunt. They both went in day 2. I think they both went day 2. Maybe Kareem Hunt was the day 3 guy last year. And just the difference between getting a guy like Bradley Chubb at a rookie scale contract and Saquon Barkley is just so different because Bradley Chubb isn't going to be one of the highest paid defensive ends, where Saquon Barkley is going to be comparable to the highest paid running back. So even if Saquon Barkley is a very good football player, which I think he will be a very good NFL player, his value in a salary capped league is not as high. And also, there are just so many stats about how NFL teams probably rush a little bit too much than they should. And as Saquon Barkley is a very solid running back out of the backfield catching the ball, I just don't think he has enough value to warrant a top 5 draft pick on him. So I would say take Bradley Chubb, because basically quarterback pressures is one of the biggest stats towards correlation in winning and shutting teams down defensively. Philadelphia Eagles led the NFL in quarterback pressures last year. Minnesota was near the top of that list. Pretty much Jacksonville was near the top of that list too. Most of the teams near the top of quarterback pressures list were also near the top of the wins list and defensive points allowed. So I think that really defensively, the foundation of it is rushing the quarterback. And I think that Bradley Chubb would just provide a great tandem with Myles Garrett. I don't think he's as good as Myles Garrett was coming out of the draft, or Joey Bosa, or Jadeveon Clowney. I think he's probably a little bit better than Solomon Thomas. I never bought into his hype, but I think that he's kind of
a little bit comparable to Bosa, but not. I don't think as good, but I think he's a little comparable to him. I definitely see like similarities in him. Like Myles Garrett was just an athletic freak, fast, stronger, like just quick, but Chubb has like the makeup of a Bosa, I feel like.
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger so he's a little bit slower as well as Myles Garrett. But I think Chubb is going to be a very effective NFL player, so I wouldn't be mad if they take him. But if they trade down, I like your idea, getting Minka, Denzel Ward, or Derwin James if you trade with the Bears at number 12. I think that one of them is going to be there. And
easily. I think Minka's going to slide this draft. I think that people are going to opt for Denzel, the faster, more athletic person. I think Minka's sliding in this draft for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of
I can see a team like Baltimore or something picking Minka.
Yeah, but Baltimore is drafting at like 17, so that would be after the...
Yeah, I think he might slide that far, in my opinion.
And then Packers fans, love Derwin James. That's all, I see them talking about. They're if Derwin falls to us, we'll be so happy. So we'll see, because the Packers, I think, are picking 14 or 15, so that's right around that area as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
The quarterbacks getting drafted early on, I feel like that's going to create a lot of shift. Later at the first round, you're going to see a lot of guys that are backs, especially. I think that the defense, I think linebackers are gone a little bit earlier this year, and I think like Saquon's going to get picked early, and I think that the quarterback's going to get picked early. So I think you're going to see a big slide in defensive backs than where they should be drafted. I think this is a strong defensive back draft this year. So and definitely wide receivers, but I think wide receivers are going to slide just based on talent. I don't think there's going to be any really steals that you're going to see. So I think defensive backs is something that you could draft high if we trade down. If they're not high, but you should target if we draft out of the first round or later in the second half of the first round. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited. I'm excited for this draft. Mike, can we get into your sleeper? I don't have any sleepers personally. Can we get into your sleeper ideas for both offense and defense?
Yes, I was going to have one quarterback sleeper, one offensive sleeper, and one defensive sleeper. I kind of already said my quarterback sleeper. Kyle Lauletta, quarterback out of Richmond, really impressed with his ability to move the sticks on third down, and also his adjusted completion percentage was very high compared to some of the other top quarterbacks in this class. Big arm dude, so he's kind of my like Josh Allen if you're not a Josh Allen fan and would like Josh Allen if he was like a second, third round guy. You basically like Kyle Lauletta, so that's my quarterback sleeper this year. My offensive sleeper is Deshaun Hamilton for Penn State. I think he is one of the top 3 wide receivers in this class, and I don't see him getting hyped up anywhere close to this. I think he is a day 2 wide receiver who is going to be very solid in the NFL. I think he compares really closely to DJ Moore and Calvin Ridley, and those are kind of the consensus top 2 guys. I don't see much separation between those two. I think his size and ability to win jump balls is really impressive, and I think that his just overall body frame and speed, that combination is just going to be able to fit into the NFL. Kind of looks like a guy like Demaryius Thomas, so we'll see.
Lack of production from Deshaun, but I think that was solely based on system and change of quarterbacks when he had his great first freshman year season with Christian Hackenberg. So I like that pick at wide receiver. Who's your defensive sleeper now?
It's actually going to be Mike Hughes, cornerback out of UCF. Obviously, UCF undefeated, best team in the country last year. Still a bit of sarcasm with that statement, but Mike Hughes is very impressive all season for a UCF defense that at times was very frustrating to watch, because I swear they would just give up a touchdown and like they wouldn't even care, because they're like, oh well, our offense will score on the next drive, so it's okay that we just gave up a touchdown. Like the games against Memphis and USF, I swear there were just points where I was like, they're scoring in like 2-3 plays every time. It's just so frustrating. But Mike Hughes very rarely got beat in the secondary. I think that he's going to be a guy who's going to come in as a second-round draft pick. A guy the Browns could target in day 2 in the NFL draft, as they have plenty of second and third round picks this year. I think he could be a very solid outside cornerback, as we've seen guys like Derwin James and then Minkah Fitzpatrick kind of hyped up as kind of slot corners. I think that besides Denzel Ward, Mike Hughes as good as anybody in this draft as an outside cornerback, so he's kind of my defensive sleeper. Any last words about the NFL draft before we wrap up this video?
Well, I actually want to look back. I think history is really important when it comes to just anything in life, especially in the sports too. Looking back at past mistakes, past things that you did. Did they work out? Did they not? So before we wrap up the video, I want to do a quick look back at last year's draft when we had 3 first-round picks, looking like we're going to have a lot of picks this year too, and go through them, get your thoughts on whether they are hits and misses real quick, what do you think that's going to happen in the future. So first off, we're going to start at first overall. We drafted Myles Garrett. Mike, what do you think about that? How do you think that went his first year? What do you think just in total?
Very good pick. He was definitely the best player in the draft.
Yeah,
as a prospect coming out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think that was even questionable.
Hindsight.
First play ever, first sack. That was pretty amazing. That just kicked it off. I mean, he has been injured this year. I hope that we get him more durable. I hope that we got hired a strength and conditioning coach, so I hope that helps out a little bit. And I just can't wait to see it. I want to see him wreck the league.
Yeah, I think hindsight. At this point, after we saw 1 year from each of these guys, I think it's him and Deshaun Watson would be your first 2 guys you would consider taking. Deshaun would be the only guy who would consider swapping Myles Garrett out for. Maybe Patrick Mahomes, but we only saw him play 1 game, so probably not him. So, all right, so I would say that was a successful pick.
Yeah, all right, so moving on to our next pick. Was it Peppers or? I think it was Peppers, yeah. So Peppers, what do you think about Jabril Peppers? I mean, he was mired in controversy, but I have my own thoughts. Mike, what do you think?
Probably not great value, but I think that the goal last year for the Browns was not to make the playoffs. So I think that Greg Williams might have just had Peppers playing so far back because he wanted Peppers to learn how to read the NFL game and see the field. And then maybe in the next couple seasons, he'll start bringing him closer to the box, letting him make plays. I think that he was misused if you were trying to win last season playing safety 30 yards away from the line of scrimmage. That is not how defense should be played in the NFL. But I think if Jabril Peppers learned how to read coverages and read the game from standing all the way back there, it will make his life easier when he is closer to the box, because we know he's a very aggressive playmaker, and now maybe after having a season under his belt, being a little bit more passive, he won't make as many mistakes when he does decide to be aggressive and try and make a play defensively. I don't think it was great value, but I'm not ready to give up on Jabril Peppers at all as a solid NFL football player.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Peppers is an athlete. I think he's a warrior. I think he's a grinder. I think he's going to be I think he's going to be fine. I think that we obviously, like Mike said, played him out of position. I think he should be more like a strong safety, like Mike said, into the box. I mean, he was a linebacker in college, even though I think that he could have played
the Green Bay guy
safety.
He's going to be playing safety now.
Yeah, exactly. So Randall, we picked up DeMaurice Randall. So
yeah, I didn't know his first name.
I think that what's it called? I think Peppers. I think he showed his athleticism in the NFL. I think he showed a little bit of separation there, that he is more athletic than these guys. Not a ton more, but he still holds up from what it looked like in college on tape. So I think if Greg Williams gets it together, knows how to put all these players, athletes that he has in the right spots, I think that Jabril Peppers would be just fine.
Give me your Greg Williams quote from.
Oh my gosh, Greg Williams on Building the Browns. I think it was episode 3, episode 4 maybe. He was meeting with Jarvis Landry, meeting with Tyrod Taylor, and he's like, we got a good team here, boys. And I'm like, yes, sir. And he was just like, if we lose, or if we don't gain your expectations on what you want to achieve, it's the players' fault, it's your fault. And I was just like, what? Their jaws just dropped. It was Greg Williams could be a nut. I just hope that he could coach defense.
Well, Bountygate, remember that?
Yeah. So, but our last guy, someone I'm excited for, want to see what you think before we wrap up this video. David Njoku, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, he was a guy who, I think in last year's NFL draft video with Daniel Perlegreco, he was a guy who I said was a sleeper early round 2. We ended up getting him with, what was it, the last pick of the first round, I think?
I think it was 27.
Oh, 27, all right. So it was.
We went to bed, though. We all were texting, and then everyone started going to bed
because we
and then I got an alert. And then for some reason, I was watching it a little bit longer, and then it said Browns, and then it said, they said that something's coming in, and Browns traded down to get David Njoku. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, but I was a fan of Njoku pre-draft. I wasn't super impressed by his rookie season, but there was nothing that Browns quarterbacks did last year that made me confident that I saw the ceiling of any offensive playmaker for the Browns. So I think that hopefully we see Njoku make some strides with either Tyrod Taylor or whatever rookie quarterback the Browns take. So still definitely buying David Njoku stock at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that makes it 3 for 3 for the Browns. Maybe a little 2.5.
Let's just not go back anywhere before this year.
Yeah,
first round picks.
Yeah, I think that everything's still a little bit undecided with Garrett's injuries, Pepper's position play, and how he played last year. Just I think based on position, and Njoku, I think he did actually a lot better than I would have expected with Kaiser at quarterback, a rookie quarterback who was just thrown in the fire and just completely boiled. I think that Njoku had more production and showed off his athleticism. It was a big theme in last year's first round, even going into the draft, or going after post-draft. A couple days leading after, they said about their athleticism, and they showed it on the field. I think all 3, and I think Njoku was no different. I actually think that he was one of the more athletic tight ends last year in the entire NFL, and he showed that on even his different touchdown celebrations. He's jumping in the air, throwing the football, just everything. So I think that all 3 can show production. I do agree with you that we need to get a quarterback in there to really use Njoku and just an offensive system, which I think Haley will bring. But I think with that, we looked a little bit back in the past. We talked about the future, tomorrow, what we're excited for. Any last words, Mike?
No.
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
We'll see. This is our favorite time of year. I hope that in the next coming years, we won't have the show anymore, but I hope we'll be a little bit less excited for the draft. But for this one, I think tomorrow will be a good day. I hope it will be a good day for the Browns, and I'm excited just like anyone. But with that, I think we can wrap it up for the video. That's been it for FHS Season Tickets. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Peace out.
Peace.